Yes, yes. What's going on, guys? My name is Eddie Tranzcendent, and you're tuned in. You're either listening or watching Transcendent Outlook Podcast. Guys, listen, I'm super excited to be with you here today. As you all know, it's been about 3 years since I've been on any of my platforms as far as the podcast goes. 3 long years, 3 years where I've missed you, and I'm sure you've missed me at least a little bit, or at least you missed a yes, yes. But we're back today. I'm super excited. There's a lot that I want to tell you about in terms of what has gone on, what has happened in the last 3 years, and what has kept me away from you. But I think that it's not the right time right now. And the reason why it's not the right time is because I'm super excited about our guest this afternoon. It's the first guest after being away for 3 years. So I'm super excited. It's an amazing young woman, actress, dancer, singer, songwriter. I mean, de todo. Esta mujer parece que lo hace todo. And I'm super excited because she's the I don't know, the star or the main actor of La Gringa. And as you guys know, La Gringa is coming to Bridgeport to the Klein this Friday, September 14th, September 16th. I'm sorry. And so I'm super excited to have her on. And because of that, I don't want to take too much of your time telling you about me. Although you may be excited to hear about me, maybe not. But today is all about Jenyvette Vega, right? So I'm super excited to bring her on. For those of you who are coming out to see Johnny, who we all love, Johnny will be here in a little while. But for now, let's go ahead and get Jenyvette in here and get this show on the road. Let's go.
Hi guys.
Jenny, what's going on?
All good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm super excited. Super happy to be here. You know how when you're como que tú te cambias, you're a different person when you get on stage and you get behind, whether you have a mic or the lights turn on. Well,
Yeah.
that's me. Like, you know what I mean? Like when the camera comes on, it's like I come out and I'm super excited. And like I was telling you a little while ago, it's been 3 years since I've done any of my podcasts, so I'm super excited to
Yeah.
be here today.
Congrats on coming back.
Yes, yes, I'm definitely super excited to be here and super excited to have you here. Uh,
Thank you.
no, thank you for being so open, for being so kind. I sent you a message on Facebook. Muchas veces that's a little shaky because I'm a guy. I'm sending a woman a message. You're like, who is this guy? Um, but I really appreciate you answering back. Super quick too, like rapidito. You're like, what's up? What's going on?
Mhm.
Hablamos, and we hit it off right quickly. So thank you so much for being so kind.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. I know we have some people in common, like my cousin, and so it was so nice. I have family in Bridgeport, so having to be able to bring the La Gringa to Bridgeport, and not only that, but like have this opportunity to talk about it, it's really good. So thank you so much.
No, definitely. I'm super excited. I mean, serendipity is a beautiful thing. I mean, you can prepare for as much as you want, but when serendipity happens, there's no way to control that.
Yeah.
And when your cousin was like, she had commented and she was like, "Oh my God, my cousin's coming to Bridgeport," and I was like, "Hold on, ¿qué está pasando aquí? We gotta talk about this." So I reached out and she was able to connect me, and I'm super excited to be able to make that happen. But Jenny, before we get into like Green Guy and then you coming to Bridgeport and all that great stuff, I wanna tell me a little bit about you. Who are you? Who is Jenny Vet?
Oh wow, that's a very existential question. Who is Jenny? Um, I am a Puerto Rican Latina, born and raised in Puerto Rico, um, from Ponce, Puerto Rico, in San Juan. So I was like between the two places. Um, I am a dancer, singer, uh, actor, songwriter, artist. Um, just moved here 10 years ago. I celebrated my 10th anniversary in New York this past month. Um, and yeah, I'm like, I'm a hard worker. I am very positive. I try to bring joy to the people around me. So that's Jenny. Kind of silly, kind of serious, kind of like all over the place.
So when does Jenny start to become this dancer? This when does all that start coming up? Is it just you kind of just coming up and it was in you and you just kept doing it because I,
um, I, I was so my mom put me in ballet since I was 3, and something that to this day she regrets, and I know it because she knows how much I loved it. Then she was like, what, do we have to continue? Like, I thought that this was just for a short time period. I was like, no, I actually love this. Because also like I don't come from a line of like artistic line. Like my mom doesn't sing, doesn't like acting or anything. So it's just very unexpected that I chose this line of work, you know. So Jenny started ballet classes when she was 3, and then I started in high school. Started to develop an interest in theater, and then when I was a senior in high school, I was in a production of Lion King. And I was like, oh my God, I love to sing. I love to dance. I love to act. Like, musical theater it is. Like, it combines everything. And I was like, well, I really want to do this. But my mom was like, well, you can get your degree first in college, and then you can do whatever you want. And I was like, okay. And I studied advertising. I have my degree in that, and I started working in advertising. I worked for 3 years, and she thought that I was gonna forget about acting. And all of a sudden, I'm like booking a flight to New York, and I literally told her like, "Hey, you gotta pick me up. You gotta take me to the airport on this date, and then you gotta pick me up on this other date." And she was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Yes." A year later, I moved to New York, and it has been the hardest but best decision I've ever taken in my life. Like, I do not regret it, even the hard times, even like it's insane how much I've grown in this 10 years, just having the life experiences that I've had since moving here. But yeah, I started very, very, very early. And then my mom was like, I don't want to keep taking you to dance class. I was like, well, you kind of have to, because it's like you put yourself in this position. So yeah, it's on you.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And how now after your successes and everything you've done, how has that changed? Like her, as far as the way she views you and everything you do.
You know, it's kind of like, I think that the other generations, or no, older generations, don't see this as, or not everybody, I don't want to talk about everybody, but I think that is very difficult for some people to realize that this is actually a job, is not a hobby. And so for her mind to change from like, this is not something that you pursue as a career, to now seeing that I've accomplished things, that for her has been a change. Because it's not a traditional, I don't work 9 to 5. I have
It definitely isn't. It definitely
I
isn't. And
Yeah.
I think that that goes for a lot of us. I think a lot. I mean, I'm kind of assuming that we're on the same age, right? And I think that goes for a lot of us. I think that our parents don't see things like this. So like what I'm doing right now is something that I can actually do, that I can actually do for a living, and I can actually make a living, and a good living. And I think that that for, I mean, I know, at least for me, the priority is happiness. I think if happiness is there, then everything else comes afterwards, right? So
Yeah.
it may be more of a struggle than the traditional job or career.
Yeah.
But I think that the happiness makes it a lot better. I mean, at least for me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
And that's why I say like it hasn't been easy, and it's still not easy. But I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, the person that I've become, the person that what I put priority and what I value now is nothing that compare like what I value before has changed. What I prioritize right now has changed.
yeah,
And in part it has been because like I've had to deal with uh situations that made me grown. Like I'm a very big advocate in mental health, like in taking care of yourself, because especially in this industry, like you hear no's all the time.
hmm
And it's not about having a thick skin, is about understanding that not everything is personal, understanding the circumstances, how everything comes together, that not to take it personal, because it feels like an attack every time you hear a no. It feels like an attack on you.
Yes.
And it's like, no, understanding that this is a very it's all about opinions, and
How,
opinions are not objective, they're subjective.
how long does it take someone like yourself to evolve to that place, right? Because I'm sure you didn't start there, right? So
Yeah, no. It's taking me years. It's
yeah,
taking me a lot of years of like therapy, a lot of years of like seeing how other people react to different situations. I'm very observant,
yes,
so I definitely see what other, like most of my friends right now, most of the people that went to school with me, a lot of them are not, either they're not in the arts, or they're not in the arts and they left New York. And I see that, and they're, most of them are very, very happy, which I they found their calling,
yes.
but for a lot of them it was very, very tough um, to keep pushing in the city where everybody is trying to do the same thing. You have to have, like, there's definitely passion into it. Like, you really, really need to want this. And what they don't teach you in school is like the business side of it, which is very important too. And when you actually realize that is not something about talent, is not something like, is not solely on talent, is not solely, but there's also a business side to it, then you understand and you get a better picture of what's really happening in this industry. That is not that they don't like you as a person, that they is not that you're not talented. It's just that there are a lot of factors um, coming together that maybe they don't work in your favor. And it doesn't take away the pain, but it gives you an understanding of like, oh, okay. And it keeps you going.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's, but it's taking me a long, long time, especially being Latina and being light skinned Latina. It's like you get different opinions of how you should act, how you should feel, how you should work, like do the work, Um, so trying to shut those voices out and trying to find my own voice has been, I think that's one of the biggest challenges that I've had in the past couple of years.
And can you tell me a little bit about the people who were there before you, or the people who are there but been there for a while? How has that worked out as far as like kind of like people, like the kind of people who've been there and who have maybe taken you under the wings or whatnot? Have you felt that a lot, or have you felt more like
Yeah, I felt that, but for example, like my repertorio, I feel like is my second home, is my
okay,
home away from home. And I finally, in repertorio, I found a family of of I found the family that, and the support that I was craving.
okay,
Because like in school, like we were all on the same page, we were all trying to figure out who we were and what we wanted to do. Here is kind of like you meet people that have been doing this for a long time, and they take you under their wing. So for example, my acting coach, I met her here, and I've worked with a lot of acting coaches, but I felt like she understood where I was coming from, and my insecurities, and and um, my challenges as an actress, because she's also Latina. And she understood me, and I've been working with her since 2017.
okay.
Um, so I found a sense of community. I found a sense of family. Like this to me is my second home. And it's very difficult to find in this city.
Yeah.
So I feel very, very blessed in that sense.
No, that's amazing, and it sounds
Yeah.
great. And not only do I hear it, but I see it. And by the way, like I'm looking down because my camera's higher, but my screen's
Oh, no
lower.
worries, no worries.
So I'm looking at and I'm looking at you, and I love it because I can hear the passion and the love in your voice, but I can also see it in your face, which is even more important. Y me encanta eso. I love to see that. Let's kind of switch gears a little bit, just because I have John Torres sitting in the back
Yeah.
waiting for us to bring him
Okay.
on. So, but before we do, I want to talk a little bit about La Gringa and how did that come about, right? How did that happen? Because I think you said that you've been doing it for 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah. But this
Okay,
show has been on for 25.
for 25 years. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I came in to Repertorio with a show called La Canción, which the songs were written by Vico C. So
Okay,
that was my first show here.
okay.
And the book was written by Candido Tirado. So once the good thing about this company is that once you're in the company, they you get like, oh, you get to understudy other characters. And so I got to understudy La Gringa,
Yeah.
Maria, the main character. And by the way, I am an advocate of like um working as means of like learning at the same time, and this
Yes.
has been the biggest learning experience of my life in terms of like acting wise, because
Yeah.
I'm doing 4 shows with them. It is a repertoire theater, so it changes. I can do La Gringa on Monday, Bernarda Alba on Tuesday, Filomena on Friday. Like it's multiple personalities, right? But it's great. You get to learn a lot. So I got told the company manager was like, "Hey, can you play Maria for these 2 shows? Because the main actress is not here, is not going to be here." And I said, "Sure." He was like, "Well, you have 2 weeks to prepare." I was like, "What? What?" Yeah. And we're gonna have 2 rehearsals with the whole cast, and don't worry, they'll move you around the stage, so don't worry about the blocking. Well, it was it was like throwing me into the wolves. And it's happened now a couple of times with different shows. Like every time that you get to understudy a new character is like they throw you in, like yes, pushed, and then you sink or swim. Um, and that's the biggest, like those are the moments where you know if you're cut out to do this, because especially during the pandemic, like all the swings had to go on, all the understudies had to go on, and it's like this is how you like do this job, like this is how everybody knows that you can do it. Like throwing yourself in the middle of the fire. um but I came to understudy her, and then the girl who was playing Maria, she stepped down, and then I took over the role.
Okay.
That's how it went about. Every time that we start a season, we have a rehearsal, so things change along the way. um and with me, the other character, Monchi, um he's I've had like 4 Monchis now, so it's like it happens,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but it keeps the show fresh for
Yes.
me
Yes.
because everybody brings something new. There's no 2 actresses that will do Norma the same way,
Yeah.
and I have to be able to adapt to it. Like as long as the circumstances are there, as long as the character is there, if they decide to change, to turn around, like do something, I have to adapt to that. um
How do you know, as an actress, how do you know when it's time? Like, okay, it's time for me to step down. Like, it's time for me to, especially with something like this that's been going on for 25
mhm.
years. Viene el punto en que tú dices, okay, tengo que, ¿sabes? So how do you know, without letting your ego and that person inside you, how do you know how to step back?
um well, I'm in the process right now of that, not with Gringa, but
Okay.
although with Gringa, like we're bringing somebody new soon, not to get to do the Gringa, but like to have an understudy in case something happens.
Yeah.
Because I'm currently pursuing more TV and film, so they understand that things happen like one day to the other. So I
Yeah.
always request understudies.
Okay.
Um, But I am doing another show, and it's been 3 years or 4 years since and that's a tour. I have to travel for that one. And I told the director finally this year, I was like, hey, this is my last season. Like, we need to get another actress. Also, because I'm pursuing other things that now I need to be in the city. Like, if my agent calls me and is like, hey, you booked this, um, I need to be able to be in the city to do that. You
Yeah.
know, I can't be like, hey, I have a tour. Like last time, I booked. I had booked a voiceover campaign, a whole campaign, and I had to say no because I was going to be in Oklahoma.
Mm.
So it's a thing of like, okay, you get to this step, and things are good, and you stay on that step for a little bit longer, and then what's next? And you feel like you're reaching the next goal, and it's like, okay, well, I need to start prioritizing what's in this new step, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how you know. Like, you never want to leave a show, you never want to leave a character. But when it's time, you
Yeah.
know?
And you just know. You know. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I got it when I got the well, I don't know if we want to talk about this right now or later, but I'll
Yeah.
tell you later.
The SVU?
Mhm.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that later for
Okay.
sure. For sure. Because
Okay. I'll
I
give
could
you an
probably have
example
my head.
later.
Okay, okay, good, good, good,
Okay.
good. So before being John on, could you just tell us a little bit about who is La Gringa? What is La Gringa? What's the story?
So, La Gringa. Oh, so what I was telling before, that I met Candido Tirado wrote La Canción, which was written by Vico C, the songs. And then Candido Tirado is Carmen Rivera's husband,
Oh, okay, got it.
the writer of La Gringa. And I adore them both. Like, they're such good playwrights. It's insane. It's like playwright power couple. Um, so sorry, what were you asking about again?
The story of La Gringa.
Oh,
Just yeah.
so this is partly based on her experience going to Puerto Rico for the first time. Carmen's Puerto Rico, going to Puerto Rico. So La Gringa is this young woman called Maria. She travels to Puerto Rico for the first time. She's second generation Puerto Rican, but she's never been there. So all that she knows about Puerto Rico is through her parents' eyes. And she was born and raised in New York. As she travels to Puerto Rico, she encounters both the good and the bad of Puerto Rico, of not knowing where she stands. Uh, just she doesn't know who she is, so she's trying to find herself. um, and that takes her through a journey. Um, it's a beautiful story. It's a universal story. Like, you can definitely. We always talk about like this story. Like, no matter where you come from, you can identify with. Like,
Yeah.
trying to find yourself, and especially in this um, globalized world where people just like, you find all types of cultures in all types of places. This story is universal. So she's trying to find herself, and is that journey that takes her to that through that realization. Um, it's a lovely story. It every time that I do it, it's like it brings a lot of emotions up, because of course I miss my island, and I miss my family. So it's all about that, how family comes together, uh, and how identity is so important,
Yes.
that we need to know who we are. So it's that journey into finding out who she is.
I love it. I definitely love it. I'm super excited. I haven't seen it yet. Clearly Johnny has seen it. I haven't seen it yet. But so Johnny, I'm talking about Johnny. So John Torres is the executive director of the Bridgeport Caribe Youth Leaders, and so his organization is responsible for bringing La Gringa to Bridgeport this Friday. We're super excited. We're helping him. All the other Latino organizations in Bridgeport are helping him kind of get the word out because we really want to get this thing packed up for you guys. And so I thought that it would be perfect to have him join us on this interview. That way he could talk to you a little bit, get to know you, and we get to hear a little bit about how this whole thing happened, where this idea came from, and just because I love Johnny and I think everybody should love Johnny too. So without further ado, let's bring Johnny up in here.
All right. Mi gente, how you all doing? Jenny, thank you for being here. Eddie, as always a pleasure.
Hi, Johnny.
For the opportunity. Thank you. Hey, we're super excited. I've been listening, Jenny. Boy, you got a beautiful story to tell. I would love for you to come and speak to our youth at some point because you're talking about finding yourself, finding your voice in the career that you're in. And a lot of our youth are struggling with those same things. So that is awesome. I'm glad. I love your passion. And looking forward to hosting you on Friday night here.
Yeah. We're so excited. We're so excited.
Yeah, so Johnny, I wanted well, first of all, I wanted for you to kind of share for me and for Jenny and for everybody who's watching and listening a little bit about how this whole idea came about and how and why we're doing this this Friday.
Yeah, Eddie. So this has been a project now for about going on 3 years that we're trying to bring a performing art from to Bridgeport, professional one for that sake. And Raul Lafitte, who's the presently Liceo Cubano, and myself sat down and we discussed this. We planned it out prior to the pandemic, and then boom, llegó la pandemia, right? So we had to put everything on pause. And now we've had the opportunity to restart this and make it a reality for our community. For us, I love the fact that when Raul and myself sat down, one of the things that we outlined on this is that we wanted to bring our community together. And what we wanted to do is to bring all the organizations, just like GBLN, and the other 9 Latino organizations that are part of this, and in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, And so, for us as Hispanics, Latinos, it doesn't matter if you're from Puerto Rico or from wherever you are, we have great history, great culture, and more importantly, we got great people. We got great people doing some great stuff, like Jenny. I had the pleasure of seeing La Gringa at the Repertorio Español, and I'll tell you, I was blown away because it's a super storyline, and not only that, it really, made me think. It was very thought provoking. And I know that it got a little sentimental there at parts of the place. So, I said to people, you're going to laugh because they got some great lines. You're going to think, but then don't be afraid to bring out the tissues because there'll be some moments that tug at your heartstrings. So, when we saw it, I went with it was like 6 of us in total, my wife and 2 other couples. And we came back, we said, my God, this is going to be a home run. And because we have been able to rally all the community, it's going to be a huge success. We're projecting to have over 700 in attendance. And according to the Klein, they say that many people wait to the last minute. So we have 2.5 more days. And we'll hopefully, our goal was to get to 1,000 in attendance, and we may get there. So, and this is great because I feel like this play is not only just for adults, it's for everyone. I mean, we're going to have our young people there in attendance. We're going to have their families, and I think what's awesome, what I love about this, and Jenny alluded to earlier in her interview, is the fact that it transcends to all cultures. It doesn't matter if you're Latino, It's like, when Irish or the Italian came over to the States and land there, then you had second generation. They go back, right, and they get stigmatized a little bit by the people, just like we. I say this in terms of an experience I had as a youngster. We used to go, and I still do visit Puerto Rico every year. But when I was younger, I used to go with my mother, my father, and my grandfather was so proud of my mom and us that we came to the United States and we were doing well. And every time he would say to his friends, because we used to go to La Cantarilla, and here I am, like 7 years old, whatever. And he go, mira, este de Nueva York, even though we were from Connecticut, right? Because everybody that comes from Puerto Rico is living in New York. And then he would tell me, háblala en inglés para que yo sepa que tú sabes hablar en inglés. But you know what? It was a trip because it made me proud of being a Puerto Rican. And yes, I've had similar situations in which maybe some of my relatives thought that here I am, an outsider. What opinion do you have of Puerto Rico? You're not here and stuff like that. But we work it out, and respect each other's opinion and differences. So I'm looking forward to Friday night. It's going to be a great, great night for everyone, and also for the city of Bridgeport. First time La Gringa is coming to Bridgeport, and I believe the first time in Connecticut, from what I understand.
Wow, I'm honored.
No pressure.
No pressure.
No, listen, and to that point, Johnny, I know you mentioned about kids being able to come. Jenny, I would like for you to share a little bit about your idea as far as who can come. Like, can anybody come? Should we leave the little ones at home?
Well, if they can understand like what we're saying, if they can comprehend, and yes, this is for the whole family. It's such a lovely song. It's such a lovely story that there are no themes of like I don't know. To me, it's like for the whole family.
Now, is this gonna be? Do you guys do it in English or Spanish or is Spanglish?
Spanglish. Spanglish all the way. Yeah, we offer us. We're gonna have subtitles for people that do not understand Spanish. But it's a mixture of both, which makes the whole process of learning it very interesting. Because I say some words and like I'm like, wait, which one is a word that I have to say in English? Which one is a word that I have to do in Spanish? Sometimes I mix them up. Either way, people get it. People get it.
Yeah, I think for a lot of us, that's how we talk on a regular basis, anyway.
Yeah.
So I think it just comes natural to us. Johnny, did you have any questions that you wanted to kind of whether it was, I mean, for me, the main question I've been getting as far as people who are buying tickets is, hey, can I bring my kids? So that's been like the big thing, right? Was there anything that maybe somebody asked you or that you were wondering about when it comes to? I mean, I know you saw the show already, but now that we have Jenny here.
No, like I said, I'm looking forward to hosting at Repertorio Español. Raul and I, we've talked, and this was his idea, to be honest. He brought up La Gringa to me. I had no idea what the play was about, and it's because the Liceo Cubano has experience bringing shows from el Repertorio Español to the Liceo Cubano. And, so what we did is, because of capacity issues at the Liceo Cubano, this would be able to offer it for a broader audience. And we want to do that. We want to celebrate our heritage. We want to be together. So we're looking forward to this. I am, pumped. I hear the passion in Jenny's voice, and I could see why this show is so successful.
Yeah,
25 years. It's incredible.
25 years.
Yeah, and just Jenny, the Liceo Cubano that we keep talking about, and Raúl Lafitte, is probably, I think, the longest running Latino organization in Connecticut.
Wow.
68 years. They're celebrating 68 years
Wow.
next month. Um, and so what happened here was that was Johnny, and Johnny, you could probably tell the story better than me. You know, once Johnny decided to bring La Gringa to Bridgeport, he called all of us, all of the different leadership for the different organizations here in Bridgeport, to kind of help and to kind of come together as a big group and make this happen. And so Johnny, I think you know better as far as like the organization, but I think it'll be a good time to kind of talk a little bit about that, how you know how the idea came about and how we're doing this as in unity, which I love, you know, all together.
Yeah, you know, when I truly believe that when people come together for a common objective, great things happen. And you know, we have, in addition to Liceo Cubano and Caribe, we have the Dominican American Coalition, the Greater Bridgeport Latino Network, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, representing Mexico, the Latino Advocacy Foundation, Los Peruanos Unidos of Connecticut, the Puerto Rican Parade of Fairfield County, the Stratford Hispanic Heritage Committee, and the Venezuelan Association of Connecticut. I mean, we got representations from all sectors, and really, we're all the same. Yeah, you know, maybe we come from different parts of the world, but we speak the same language, maybe with a little different accent. We love to eat, we love to dance, we love to sing, we love to party, you know, and more importantly, we're grounded in our faith and family. I mean, that's and so we share that commonality, and they're going to experience that on Friday night.
No, definitely, and you know, so I mean, obviously for me, I was super excited. As soon as I heard about it, I said, yeah, we definitely have to do this. I think it's great. I think it's great for us to get together, and it was just perfect because obviously, Hispanic Heritage Month starts mañana, so literally the day after we bring, you know, you guys come down, and I think it's just a great way to not only share this great story and this great play and great folks like yourself, Jenny, but just to show the unity that as Latinos we can represent, right? I think very often it is said that we can't, que los latinos no se unen, que nosotros siempre estamos en contra de cada uno when we're not, right? We're together. And I think that this you know, this whole idea, which by the way, you're seeing on screen, is the flyer that's been going around. As you can see on there, in the bottom where it says GBLN there, the Greater Bridgeport Latino Network, what we did was that we just changed out the different organizations' names there, and we had them kind of put out their own flyer to bring, you know, their community and their following here with us. And so I think it's just a great way to just show that we can come together. We can come together and show unity, show love, and share this great story that you're going to be bringing us. And I'm super excited. I'm super happy to be part of this. And Johnny, thank you so much, man. It's just such a great idea.
Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Jenny, we'll see each other on Friday.
See you on Friday.
All right, cuídese. Que Dios lo bendiga.
Amen.
See you.
Oh man, yeah, Johnny's definitely good people.
Yeah.
That's a good guy, and in person he's even better, man. He's a good guy. His organization really focuses on the youth here in the city, and they've been doing that for I think probably close to 20 years. They started off as like a baseball, kind of like a little baseball league, and then they do everything: entrepreneurship classes, you know, STEM. Just they're involved with the universities. I mean, anything that you can think of. I mean, he already invited you to come over and speak. I mean, he's all over it. It's a beautiful thing. But listen, antes de que yo te deje ir, I do want to talk a little bit more about, you know, what else you have going on. As we kind of talked about a little bit a few minutes ago, I have to admit, you know, con la cabeza bajada, yo tengo que admitir que I didn't realize that it was you in that episode of SVU. I think my wife told me that it was episode 28 or something like that. But the point is that she's like, see, nene, look, and she showed me, and I was like, no. Pero entonces cuando me enseñó el chinito, there's like a chinito that's in that episode. I was like, oh my god, yeah, I remember his face. And I hated him in that episode.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that and other things that you have going on.
Oh my God. Okay. So I auditioned for SVU. I've auditioned like 3 or 4 times now for them. Is a very particular way of auditioning for SVU. Like there's a way to do it, which is very interesting, because it's a very, like, you watch the show, is very natural, is not overdone, is a very special way to audition for it in the sense of like acting technique wise. So auditioned for it, and I was like, well, another audition. I hope that I get it because I'm a huge SVU fan. Like Mariska Hargitay and Christopher Meloni are my godparents, and they don't even know it. So I was, every time that I auditioned for it, and I auditioned for big projects, like I get like, oh, okay, I really have to do a good job. So I got this audition and I recorded it. I remember I recorded it at my friend's place. I was like, okay, we did 4 takes and that was it. And I sent it in. I got put on hold on a Tuesday, which being put on hold is that you're in the mix of the top 3 people.
Okay.
But you haven't gotten it yet. So they might say like, hey, we don't need you anymore. It's like, oh, no, I was so close. But then on Wednesday, I had 2 shows with Repertorio. I had an 11 a.m. show, and I have 11 a.m.? Yeah, 11 a.m. show, and then a 7 p.m. show in Harlem. And I did the show, and we went to lunch. We came back to the theater, and I checked my email, and there was the offer. And I fell to the ground. I started crying. I was like, oh my God. I called my mom because she knew that I had auditioned for it. And then she knew that I had been put on hold. So I told her, I was like, I got it. She was like, oh my God. Those are kind of like the moments where she understands now that this is not a hobby. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So it was like it was surreal. Like I just fell to the ground and I started crying, and I saw the scene that I was gonna do, and it was not. There's different terms with there's like you have a 5-liner, you have a 2-liner. No, I had a full scene with Kelly Giddish, which plays Amanda Rollins, and Ice-T. So my scene was with both of them, and I was like, oh my God, what? I told my best friend, but I didn't tell a lot of people until I signed the contract. That's very superstitious of me. So I waited till I had that locked in. And then it was a dream come true. Like, and the fact that the next season 24 is the last season, because Mariska is ending it, and the fact that they're on 23 seasons, like, what in the world? It's like, no, like, to even be a part of like that kind of show, that kind of legacy was like, mind-blowing. Now I can't audition for it for the next year because I have to wait a little bit of time before I audition for it. Okay. It's like protocol. Yeah. But it was surreal. And then, so when I got put on hold, I got several dates, and I was like, oh my God, okay, what am I gonna do? And I called the manager, the repertorio manager. I was like, hey, I might need you to get me coverage for Gringa. And he was like, okay, let's think about it. Luckily, I only needed to shoot one day and I had no shows that morning. But it was like, those are, it was kind of like, that's why we need understudies, because with theater, with TV, it's like, today you audition and you're working on it, you're shooting on Friday. It's like that. Is very, very fast and is very unexpected. So that's why, like, it's very important for me to have an understudy, especially because now that's what I'm pursuing.
How do you keep your nerves, like, how do you hold, like, how, like ¿qué tú haces, like, when you're in that moment? Y te digo por qué, because, like, for me, yo soy salsero. Like, I love
Okay.
salsa. Like, salsa is in my veins. Like, you know, and I love Tito Rojas. And you know, may he rest in peace. But I met him a few years ago. And then I didn't know what to do. You know, it was so weird. And then the interaction wasn't great either. It was like, you know how they say, you know, don't meet your idols because, you know, it doesn't go well. Like, it was one of those things. I was like, oh my God, this is, like, not great, but I still love him. Like, I don't know, right? But I didn't. So how do you? And then you have to act, right? So you have to actually work. Like, you have to, like, put out your best, like, work in front of these people who you know what I mean?
And you know what? This was my first TV appearance, like, here in the States.
Okay.
So I for it to be Law and Order was a huge deal and a huge responsibility to me. Like, you know, when you have, like, that complex, like that imposter complex, I was like, am I gonna be able? Also, the director, Prativa, she's insanely good. Like, and this season we had different directors, right? My episode was this lady that she has a film in the Tribeca Film Festival. Like, she's a boss director. Like, she knew what she wanted. She directed me so well. And then Kelly was, like, trying to get the best out of me. They were, it was surreal. It was surreal that I was being directed by her, and then my scene partner was Kelly and Ice-T. And specifically Kelly, she was so sweet, and she wanted to get to that, like, the root of the emotions. And that was like, I was like, wait, can I actually do this? Like, I've never, usually people that get onto Law and Order, they've had other guest stars, other shows, other experiences. I didn't. I was, like, thrown into, I think that's my how I'm supposed to break it into the industry. I just get pushed into a stage with nothing to do, like, no instructions, no directions, and just, like, do something, girl. Like,
I think some people, or maybe I'm speaking for myself, work better that way. Like, I work better with my back against the wall. I work better, like,
me too.
Like, you know what I mean? I mean, sure, study, sure, go over things.
Yeah.
But I need the fire. Like, I need, like, it needs to be like I don't know. I'm like, when I was in college, like in the beginning, first day of class, here's everything you have to do, and here I am the last day, typing away at 11:30, and again like an A minus, and I'm like, coño, if I would have just did it a little earlier, maybe I would have got that A plus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just like I work a little better under pressure.
Yeah, I do too. It's just it was a lot of pressure. It was a lot of pressure. And so I think we were filming, like, the last part of the scene that day, and Kelly goes to me and she's like, "Oh, are you a fan of the show?" And I go, "Yes." She's like, we started talking about Puerto Rico, and she's been to Rincon. She loved Rincon. So this was, like, after we had been acquainted a little bit, and she was like, "Oh, are you a fan of the show?" I was like, "Yes." She was like, "Oh, okay." You know, like, listen, I might be calm, cool, and collected on the outside, but I'm losing my shit. Like, right now, you don't know how surreal this feels.
Yeah.
Like, I even told her this, which I think that she thought that it was kind of weird. But looking back, I'm like, Jenny, why did you say that? Because I'm the type of person, I love to sleep with, like, sound on. and sometimes I would sleep with SVU on. It's like, she's gonna think that you're a psycho. Like, yeah, that was not my best moment. But I told her, I was like, yeah, like I was very honest. Like, I'm like, also because I was there also to work, so I wanted to be professional.
Yeah.
I was not gonna be like, oh my god, yes. She was actually the one who came up to me and said, like, hey, do you want to take a selfie? Because I wanted to be so professional that I didn't even take my phone with me. So I left it on the trailer, and then I was like, wait, nobody's gonna send me anything. Like, I won't have any type of physical evidence that I was on this show until it airs.
Well, yeah, which by the way was how much time later?
We filmed on April 1st. It came out May 5th. So it was a month. Yeah, it was a month.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, oh, and this is another thing. Sometimes you shoot, but they might cut your scene without telling you.
Yo me muero.
See, entonces it was like me trying to being like, okay, I did this, I got paid,
Yeah.
I did this, and what if they cut my scene? What if they cut it?
And it's like it's not about the money. I mean, we need the money. We have to pay bills. Yes, we need the money.
Yeah, but you also like want to show.
Yeah.
Everybody who's in the industry is not solely we want the recognition.
Yeah.
We definitely want the recognition.
Yeah.
So it's like if friends of mine, like, I hadn't thought about that, and friends of mine that have done shows, they were like, oh, well, let's hope that they don't cut your scene. I was like, what? That's a possibility?
Don't even say that. Don't even say
that. So I was very pleased that my whole scene came out intact, like the way.
I love that episode. It was one of those episodes that gave me like the creeps. I was like, oh god, but I love this so much. And I mean, we're big fans here in this household.
Yeah.
So we've seen a few different actors that have come back. So it's a thing. So I hope that next season, the last season, hopefully you get another shot.
Oh yeah. Well, let's hope. I really want to. I really want to.
I really hope so. We've seen it happen. So
yeah.
We'll start.
That's why they sometimes, like, you have to wait a year.
Yeah.
Because they might bring you for this character, but they might bring you for another character, and they want time to pass in between, so that people don't recognize you and don't confuse you with the previous character. That's mainly why they do it.
Is there any specific type of acting or personality, personaje that you rather do, or you just kind of open? Vamos,
I would love to play a criminal.
Okay.
I would love to. Like that. Wow, Jenny, you love SVU and you want to be a criminal. What does that say about you? No. I think it's the complexity of the villains. Sometimes it's I love characters who are complex, because humans are complex, and it's very far away from who I am as a person. Okay. And I love that. I love playing characters that one of the characters that I play in one of the shows here at Repertorio, she's like this snotty nurse that she's like the other woman, and she's very, very like, I don't like that. I don't like this. I don't like that. And I've met people after the show and they're like, oh, you're very laid back. And I was like, yes, it's a character. I don't even talk like that. So I love characters who are very different from me. So I would love to play even like a perpetrator, like somebody who's because
I don't mean just within this type of show, but just overall. I mean, like is there anything you stick to, or do you just kind of?
No, I just kind of a friend of mine, one of the first actors that I had the opportunity to work with, said, like, you're like a chameleon. Like you change very, very easily in terms of like, it depends on the character that you're playing. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. If I wanted to play like myself, I would be myself and that's it.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting to like play other people and to get to dive into the minds of other characters. So that's why I got into this. Like there's one of my teachers once said to a friend of mine was like, do you always want to play like the pretty girl, because that's safe, you are pretty, so you can do that. But if you want to play a real character with like real emotions, like pretty or not, like you have to dig deep, you have to like get into the nitty gritty of every character that you do and find the complexities. And that's what I love about this industry. So I don't have specific characters. I don't have like as long as the material is great, because also people might see a movie, like you might see a movie and you're like, oh, this was really bad. Like that actor is really bad. But what people don't understand is that sometimes the text is really bad. Sometimes the direction is really bad. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, I just had that conversation with my wife. We watched the movie. I don't want to say any names, but we watched the movie like super recently, like a few nights ago. And I was like, "Ay, Dios!" Like I watched it because of that person, and I don't know, man. I was like, I've seen them act before. It was great, but this acting seemed off. I don't know if it was the production. I don't know how that goes. But for whatever reason, it was just so off to me. Que me como que me puso mal. I don't know. I was so upset, And so I definitely get that. I definitely see that.
Yeah, there's text that is like even so. After in Law and Order, there was always a last line that I was like, "Damn, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. It feels like so out of character."
Yeah.
And so it was before we shot it, and Kelly and I were talking, and I was like, "Oh, do you know what this means? Because I can't." And she read it, and she was like, "Yeah, that's kind of weird." And we got the director, and we were like, "Can we just eliminate it? This doesn't change the scene. This doesn't change anything. It just doesn't add. It's not something that my character would say." She's like, let me talk to the writers, because the writers are of course in the room with you in the shoot, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you can take that off." And we're like, "Woo, okay, perfect." And it was such a simple thing, but you notice that like when the writing is off, the writing is off, and the actor can do whatever they like, the best that they can to bring that, to honor that that text, but it has to be so in a way that makes sense to the character.
Yes.
And so it's a collaborative effort, for sure.
Well, Jenny, we before I let you go, we've hit acting, we've hit dancing a little bit.
Yes.
Talk to me about this singer-songwriter side of you. What's going on? Can I go? I got my phone right here. Can I go on Spotify and find something?
Yeah. So during the I'm gonna give you the song. The song is called "To the Ground."
Okay.
Sydney Blue is a producer. I wrote it, and I am singing the vocals. I have a new song coming up in October called "Infatuation," and I'm really excited for this one. I started writing. I've written a lot of. I'm a hopeless romantic, so I love writing poems. I love writing songs. Like I'm like, yes, I'm that person. And so during the pandemic, my friend, one of my best friends, he produces electronic music, and he got me in contact with this Canadian producer. She was living in Germany at the time, and she's very well known in the underground scene. And she heard about me through him. She heard one of my songs, and she was releasing an album. So she reached out, and I was in Puerto Rico. It was during the pandemic. It was like May or June of 2020.
Okay.
I was in Puerto Rico. I stayed like 8 months in Puerto Rico during the pandemic, and we Skyped or Zoomed. I don't remember which. But it was like that. She was like, hey, like, this is the track. I asked her, like, hey, what's the vibe of the song? Do you want it like happy? Do you want like sexy? Do you want like, what's the mood?
Yeah.
We talked for a little bit. And then I sent her a demo of like the lyrics and the my vocals. And she was like, I love it. Changed this here and this there. And then I went and recorded it. And of course, it was like the height of the pandemic. So but I had my microphone, I had my computer with me. So I got into my mom's walk-in closet, and
Love it.
sweating so much.
Love it.
Yeah. And I recorded the song and I sent her everything. I sent her harmonies. I sent her low notes, high notes, everything that she would want. And then I was like, "Hey, send me the contract, and you got the material." And it came out last year, so it took because it was a whole album. It's called "To the Ground" by Sydney Blue. It's her album Conviction, and yeah. It has more than 400K streams on Spotify only. We're on Beatport. We're on Apple Music.
Well, after we get up here, it'll have 400K plus one if that matters.
Yeah. Yay!
I'll be listening later on. And,
Yeah.
what do you call it? No, that's super exciting. Is that something you want to do more of, or you kind of
Yeah.
just playing it by ear?
No, that's something that I wanted to pursue. Funny enough, I wanted to take 2020 to produce more music,
Okay.
not only for myself because I love to write for other people.
Yeah.
I love to write music that I know it's not my style.
Yeah.
But I could say this like hashtag humble brag. I am I'm very good at writing.
Okay.
Songwriting, and my best friend, his group is called Lucid, is a Puerto Rican duo of producers, electronic music producers, and he has worked with Chainsmokers. He has worked with a lot of influential people, Don Diablo, and so I've had the opportunity to work with him before, and on this one, the one that's coming, it's called Infatuation.
Okay.
I think it's like kind of like more what my sound.
Okay.
And he's done an amazing job. Lucid they're such amazing producers. Like they are beyond amazing. And this collaboration has been really, really nice. So I am very excited for October to come and for me to release
Where in Puerto Rico is Jenny from? That's the way.
Me?
You
I was I was born and raised. Well, I was born in San Juan,
Okay.
but my whole family's from Ponce.
Okay.
So
Got it.
I used to spend like every single weekend and all my vacation time in Ponce. So
Okay.
I really feel like I'm from both places.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's the one place I haven't really spent too much time in Ponce.
it's
You
really
know,
beautiful.
yeah. No, I believe you. I believe you.
I'm
I
a
want to.
city I'm a
Right, right.
city girl myself. Like I think that's why I love New York so much. I love San Juan because it's very fast paced and
Yes.
it's more my style. Ponce is
Yeah.
more laid back, for
Yeah.
you to go like a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I want to just shout out some of these comments. Of course, Titi Carmen said, Dios te bendiga.
Gracias, bendición.
Dios te bendiga. Let's see. My wife, is excited about Law and Order. Of course she is. And
Season 20 episode. Wait, season 23 episode 20.
there we go.
That's
There we
me.
go. Super, super exciting. And before I let you go, I have a few questions that I like to ask my guests.
Okay.
kind of off the wall, kind of weird, not weird, but just to get to know you a little on a
Okay.
different level. So right now, do you drive? You're in New York, you probably don't drive, right?
I
If you
don't
do drive,
depend it, but I do drive.
okay. So right now, what song is on right now? Like what's your song? If all the music can go away and you can just play one song right now on
Oh
repeat, what is
damn. One song, but that's tuned.
it? Why
Okay.
not?
Okay, I have I would say um Blackpink, Pink Pink Power, the last song from Blackpink,
Okay.
and Beyonce Cuff It.
Okay. Got it. Got
But
you.
also Bad
Yo.
Bunny. Like Bad Bunny
Let's
is like
go.
the whole album.
The whole thing, Nana. The whole thing.
The
From front.
whole
I mean,
thing.
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite food or favorite dish?
Favorite dish.
Yeah.
Okay, something that I rely on all the time. Pizza.
Okay. Pizza. Where? What's your
Um
favorite spot right now?
oh oh my god. That's too cliche here in New York. Joe's Pizza here in New York, but any type of like 99-cent pizza I'm
Got
good
you.
for.
Got you. Got you. Okay. You go home right now, and mommy's gonna cook for you. What do you want?
My mom cooks for
Yeah.
me. Okay, arroz y carne guisada
Ooh,
y
let's go.
tostones.
Let's go.
Yeah.
¿Hay aguacate or no?
Of course. But like the big ones, not like the little tiny ones, like the big ones, los aguacates grande.
Yeah, yeah. Love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Jenny, listen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm super excited, super happy to have you here. I'm super excited to see La Gringa here in Bridgeport at the Klein this Friday. Guys, if you're listening, if you're watching, if it's before September 16th, please make sure you go to www.theklein.org and purchase your tickets today. 20% of your ticket, of the money you pay for your ticket is going to go to an organization that you choose. Um, I'm part of an organization, but for today, I'm Transcendent Outlook, so we're not going to go into that. But pick an organization is a beautiful thing. The way John did it was that the tickets are $25, but $5 from each ticket is going to go to an organization, so we all win. It's a beautiful thing. So if you're watching on Facebook Live, if you're listening to this podcast before Friday, September 16th, please make sure you purchase your tickets for you and your whole family. Jenny said it. She said the whole family could come. So please purchase your tickets. Jenny, again, thank you so much for being so
Thank
kind,
you.
for being so cool. I look forward to seeing more of you, hopefully. And
Amen.
I'm requesting a picture. So hopefully
Yes. Oh my God.
Friday.
Yes.
And te dejo, nena. I know you got things to do. I got things to do too. So thank you so much, and see you soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, that was awesome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you tuned in, again, guys, if you haven't purchased tickets for La Gringa this Friday at the Klein in Bridgeport, please purchase tickets now. I would really appreciate it. We would really appreciate the beautiful thing. We already have over 650 people coming. Any more would definitely be more than welcome. It's a great play. 25 years and running. Great people, as you just met, Jenny. And I think that we will all have a good time there. So please join us there. It's a beautiful thing. For those of you who have been following me forever and a day, thank you so much for your support. And I'll be on here soon to talk a little bit more about what's going on. Please look forward to great interviews. I got International Santo coming. I got City Towers coming. I have the CEO of the Red Cross is going to join me soon. I have a lot of great folks who are coming to join me to talk to us. And I think that you being here and you listening in is definitely going to be a beautiful thing. And I'm excited. I'm super excited. Thank you so much for joining. Let me get this off the bottom of this page here. Guys, thank you so much. Please share this. If you haven't done so already, please make sure that you follow me on the different platforms. Everything is Eddie Tranzcendent. Just Google Eddie Tranzcendent. Everything comes up. And please, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my YouTube page. This video will be uploaded to my YouTube page. That's Eddie Tranzcendent as well. So Eddie Tranzcendent all across the board. Guys, thank you so much for your support. I love you. Thank you. This is just the beginning. We're coming. Let's go. And of course, yes, yes.